Well, the MAS Summit is really trying to address the kinds of things that New York City and other cities around the world are dealing with. In particular, how do you create a city that is livable? How do you create a city that is innovative? And how do you create a city that is resilient? Now, MAS has been working on this for about 100 years, and we started out looking at great public art, and we've moved, of course, over this time into a great number of very exciting topics. We started out yesterday, for example, hearing from our city leadership. Bob Steele, Amanda Burden gave great talks. Bob focused on the economy and what was happening with our economy, and happy news that basically our economy in New York City is stronger than the national economy, but some less good news in terms of employment. We really do have to think about what the next jobs are going to be, how we're going to get that 11.2 million jobs that the nation is going to, how we're going to contribute to that national need that the nation has, that Bruce Katz talked about in a later session when he was focusing on the economy itself, both nationally and regionally. We have really begun to think about not only the economy, but how, as Dan Doctoroff said this morning in his talk, that the economy feeds on getting people to come to your city. And how do people come to your city? They come to your city if it's a great place to be. You have to get those people here. They have to have jobs, but you also have to make sure that more of them come and the ones that are here stay. And how do you do that? You deal with the quality of life. And quality of life issues is what MAS is all about. Quality of life and design development and density and thinking about how we can face the 21st century. So what are we talking about? We're talking about rezoning, such as we heard about yesterday, and the fabulous work that the designers did in thinking about what that would mean and what the implications are. We talked about the creative arts and what that role plays in adding to the economy. Rocco Landesman tells us art works. Well, we know art works because we have so many creative people here who are in our boroughs, particularly working in these new economies. We heard yesterday, too, about this terrific work that's being done in terms of refashioning how we're using buildings that were built for another century in this 21st century. It's not just housing. Housing's important, of course, and we have a lot of residential conversions, particularly in Lower Manhattan, but we also have fabulous factory buildings that are being refashioned to accommodate those jobs that we need, again, to attract those people we want to attract. And this morning we've had a stunning morning, particularly the discussion by John Rea, who talked about the 3 items we need to do with our public housing. 630,000 people live in public housing in New York. It's an asset. It's a fantastic asset. Worth $50 billion, as he told us, but also needing $5 to $10 billion of retrofitting and change in terms of modernizing it because it's older. And how are we going to do that? We're going to put our shoulders to the wheel, and we're going to push and do that and find new ways. We'll do that by rebuilding and retrofitting, perhaps through infill. We'll do that by greening and finding energy retrofits, and we'll do that by enhancing the quality of life through other kinds of programs. So we've been talking about a huge variety of things here today, and many more to come, but what we're demonstrating and what you can see if you follow the web recordings of the summit itself is that New York, like all cities, is a really complex city. To make it successful, you make it successful by attracting people, having jobs, building the economy, and making sure that the quality of life is what will keep them coming.